just before your intro, I often give little chapbook things away, and I wanted you to have a copy. I didn't have Bob's poems, so I have my own in there. Bob Rashkow, if you would like one of these, and if you would like to give one to somebody, I've got extra copies.
Oh, absolutely.
So one of them, and you get one, and those are things that I'm reading, because I didn't have his copy, so.
Right, I did not send her my poems.
Because I was going to, yeah.
If I'd known they were going to be in the book, I would have.
Well, welcome everyone to the feature part of our show. And we have two for the price of one tonight. We're honored to have Janet Kuypers, who's a great contributor to the Chicagoland poetry scene. Has provided many of us with the opportunity to publish in her Scars publication, various Scars publications, Children, Churches and Daddies, etc. She's also maintained the tradition that Charlie was maintaining of the cafe readings, now the gallery cabaret readings on Wednesday evenings.
Yep.
Okay. And somebody who helps her out at the gallery cabaret, her actor, man about town, both improvisational actor and regular actor, and also an unflappable commentator on the urban scene, Bob Rashkow, who will be featuring with me in the Bob and Bob Show and the fabulous Pamela Miller this Friday night. And let them eat chocolate. And we have a really unique setup here. We're all anxious to see how this is going to pull off. And of course, nowadays, there are regular artists who perform their paintings. And it's just natural for poets to perform their poems in various ways. So I'll get out of the way and let you guys take it away.
For people who don't know, usually with features, I will introduce periodic table poems, and that is why, instead of saying the title, I'm going to let you know when I'm reading. When I went to the after party of a recent Chicago play, an actor from the play asked me if I was an actor. I said, no, I write. I run a poetry room, I occasionally do features. And the actor told me that you are an actor. And my story has not been produced as a play, and directors aren't knocking down my doors to offer me a starring role. And I applaud other readers, I collect money for features, and although I perform in a show sometimes, a day or two after my show, I am quickly forgotten, and I still otherwise seem to slip into the woodwork. You know, I was thinking about it. If you look at the periodic table, you know elements are grouped together by their weight and therefore by their properties. But there's this block of elements sticking out at the bottom of the table. It's like scientists didn't know what to do with some of these elements, so they call them lanthanides, from the Greek word lanthanum, meaning to escape notice. And then they just moved them out of the way on the periodic table. And the first element in that series has the name of the series, lanthanum. And maybe it is like an actor who appears in film after film, always portraying different roles, but never often taking the lead. Lanthanums joined with metal elements to make them stronger, because even when added to lenses or to the accuracy of radiocarbon dating, everything is sharper, stronger, and more accurate. Lanthanum's supporting role makes everything stand proudly in the limelight.
One is a steadfast number. It begs for pity, spitting islands of blood into the solid concrete walks. Today is a pink day. Time to drop what I'm concealing and hurl myself into the whirlwind, risking scorn, derision, and jinx. Rush hurly-burly into the hustle-bustle of the city-witty with the erratic glitter. Carnival! It ends every night at 2 a.m., begins again 6 hours later. and in between, the empty souls search for a filling station, and I among them, licking my fat, swollen lips, covered in shockless sheen of pink, covering my gross condition, running for cover. One man, one animal in a restless crowd, only thinking, how am I going to get home?
Oh, he's like, I gotta find the title. On the East Coast, shopping once with a gay friend of mine, we walked past a guard in an empty clothing store to browse for clothes. My friend held up a pink shirt, asked my opinion. I looked at it, then at him, and said, I'm not a pink person. And we both turned to the clothing racks. I walked over to a farther rack and pulled out this goth girl's color of choice, held up a black shirt, asking for his opinion. And since he was farther away, he responded loud enough to confuse the large African-American guard when he said, I'm not a black person. And I don't care if pink is the largest ad campaign for a national lingerie company. And okay, the pink ribbon is an honor to my mom and breast cancer research. But I've never had a love of the color until I heard of metals glowing in a brilliant pink luminescence. Because in the science of spectroscopy, analyzing light from chemicals originally through a prism, scientists discovered stunning pink crystals that glittered alluringly and that would glow even more brilliantly under fluorescent lights. You see, that has to be the element erbium. And any erbium compounds are invariably a faint pink, and wait a minute, why am I going on about erbium and its very distinct pinkness? Well, there were some spectrographic bands in the infrared part of the spectrum of erbium, and these allow erbium to not scatter light or data in optical fibers, the kind for all phone calls or internet data transfers. Optical fibers are gossamer thin threads of glass, and they are a rare optical perfection that needs just the right element to carry our voices or carry all data without losing it to the atmosphere. And if that element has to be pink, then I guess erbium can give me another reason to like that color pink too.
Your sister caught her groom in shining armor, and the time for sharing her joy has come, maid of honor. Special pink gown, fitted just so. Mother crows how natural you look. Anyone would think you wrote the book on getting through this day with style and class, maid of honor. The day is not complete without pal kin, so feel free to sneak out and cop a joint. At first, Mom won't even notice you're gone. In 14 years, Kim oversees your trows, but not before getting hitched herself. And that day, it'll be Sister's turn to be maid of honor. Late getting back to meet Mother's stern glare, but just in time to serenade the pair. Some chords from Stevie Nicks will do just fine. You're showing for the game. Why didn't the bouquet contain your name, maid of honor?
I lost my proper thank you thing because you need a thank you thing. I need to put that up for us. Yep, we've got it. Thank you. He's like, now we gotta find it. And when I get that engagement ring, I'm sorry, I I want zirconium. I want a diamond. I want something stronger. Even the band. I mean, everyone wants gold, but you know, platinum is stronger. Or even tungsten, which has a cool goth sound to it. Wait a minute. What's the strongest element that's actually out there? Iridium. Hey, that's the stuff that was used in the asteroid that killed all the dinosaurs. Because that stuff's so strong that it's brittle and it can't even be bent into a wedding band. Well, I still want the biggest, strongest ring on my finger because I want everyone to know that I'm going to be the bride. Because I've really had my heart set on this one amazing man, Ernest. Isn't that the coolest name? Ernest. I mean, I'm being earnest with you. That's his name, and it sounds so cool. You see, he's from the Rutherford family, and I am so taken with him. Oh, and get this. He was born in New Zealand, and he now lives in the UK. I mean, this man knows the entire world, and I think I am just going to melt. But the thing is, whenever he's around, he's only around for fleeting moments. He mixes with friends, and his isotopes are only around for as long as an hour, but sometimes they're only around for 10 minutes, or sometimes just a minute or two. So I never get the chance to be with him long enough to tell him how I feel. My friends tell me not to bother because of his radioactive personality, and I am so drawn to means that if I get too close, he might be trouble for me. Well, I may not be the smartest girl if he's such a strong and intelligent man, but I've been doing all the research I can about him, and when it comes to research, I want to work with him, and I want to learn. I only hope he'll let me.
He orders me to die. Not today, I cry, and pass the wretched curse onto another's eye. Later we play a game. It's never quite the same. Rattler sweeps aside. It's now his turn to ride. What makes me hold back from climbing on the track? Snakes bitten everyone. Why won't I join this fun? Frightened of poison smear, I'll settle for buying him a beer. But once we're inside the place, I don't see Rattler's face. He opted not to join. I can feel it in my groin. Desperate longing, desperate pain, I've blown my chance again.
I know it's fun holding all the papers and figuring out how we're supposed to be doing this, isn't it? Yeah, we haven't done this before. I heard that the element hafnium is named after the literal Latin word hafnium, which is Latin for Copenhagen, the capital of Denmark. And you know, I've been to Copenhagen, and one of the touristy things we had to do was go to the waterfront to see the legendary statue of the mermaid on the rock and photograph it like every foreigner before we left town. So we walked to the water, looked at the statue, not really sure what's so amazing about it. I mean, it's not that big, and I don't even know the story behind it. But everyone new to Copenhagen should, for some reason, check it out. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized that the element, hafnium, named after the city where it was first isolated, had a lot in common with that mermaid. Because at first impression, and when it was first discovered, the element does seem to serve much of a purpose. Good thing, I suppose, since it seems so rare on this planet. But as scientists looked at hafnium more, they realized that it can form superalloys, which withstand very high temperatures, which is great for parts like in space vehicles and stuff like that. Hafnium carbide has the highest melting point of just 2 elements, and the tungsten carbide with hafnium has the highest melting point. But its scarcity makes hafnium very expensive, because I even heard that nuclear power plants can pay $1 million just for the neutron-absorbing hafnium rods. So I guess it would make sense why scientists consider hafnium as special as that little mermaid at Copenhagen's water's edge. Because things may seem benign at first, but only when you search deeply will you find their true value and beauty.
This is a song from Under the Floorboards. This is a song from Where the Wall is Cracked. Magazine, 1980. It's not as disarming as you might think. I like it fine down here. Sometimes it gets a little cold, a little drafty, but it's okay. I need space, and just now, the only way for me to obtain space is to be way down here, where tiny creatures of the deep gray world creep their patient humming way through their productive, oblivious lives. And it's okay for them for me to be here in their world too. Don't be too blue. I might collect dust eggs or slime goo. I might collect a scab or a tentative tattoo. I might collect a little spot of someone's long-lost poo. It has nothing to do with you. Put your magnifying glass up against the cracked hardwood, and we can play peekaboo. If you behave and refrain from too much pleading and wheedling, maybe sometime I'll come up and reunite too. I make no special promise, because I like it fine down here. But a man has to have clean air, so there, so there. Sit tight, my little horny owl. Sit tightly in your kitchen chair. One day when your cupboard's bare and the moon refuses to appear, find me treading up the stair and be ye of comfort. Now thorium, I think, right?
I think so. That's what do I need a board for? Let's say
Let's
it.
do it.
Think of how many times you've heard scientists say, or maybe you've heard it from people on Daredevil TV, do not try this at home. Knowing that someone, somewhere, won't heed this advice and end up with an unintended explosion instead of a fantastic discovery from their radical experiment. Well, good thing one Swedish chemist didn't decide to not try this at home, doing groundbreaking experiments in his kitchen flat. Though Jens Jacob Berzelius discovered a few elements, he seemed so psyched to name one new element for the Scandinavian god of thunder, Thor. And it's kind of funny, with his affinity of thorium, that he never understood thorium's radioactivity. Because, well, when he discovered thorium, radioactivity hadn't even been discovered. But after thorium was discovered, thorium was used for powering gas lamps back in the day when the world's light disappeared at nightfall. But wait, thorium is radioactive, and back in the day they didn't even know this. So did people get cancer from radiation poisoning? Well, maybe if there was enough thorium in those gas lamps, and maybe if that thorium wasn't stopped from getting to humans by the glass surrounding the lamps. Because only if you eat thorium, and maybe only the supernatural god Thor would eat thorium, maybe if you only ate it, only then might it make you sick. I mean, they still use it today in camping lamps, unless you actually look for a lamp that says it's thorium-free. But even when it came to eating thorium, some people would back in the 30s with X-rays for detecting their cancer. Because at the time, thorium was perfect for saving lives, thanks to those X-rays. So with thorium for cancer X-rays, the new cancer risk seemed like a fair trade-off before they could find a safer X-ray detection agent. So yeah, there's no way a Swedish chemist could have guessed it when he discovered the element thorium and wanted to name it after the god of thunder. But thorium can bring some lights into our world as long as we use thorium in just the right way. Oh, especially for thunder.
It's an experiment. This is for who used to, they used to host on Tuesday nights when my improv team performed once a month. Look out! Here come the winners. They're mean, they're fierce, they play it their way. The strike of the hammer lets us know that Thor is here to keep us in stitches. There's Zach and Darren, Andy and Jake, Rusty and Nipper too. Clap, clap. Let the rain come down, let the rain come down. His mighty presence fills the space for a whole 20 minutes. Oh Thor, bless us with the sound of laughter, the music of literature, the pop of culture. We shall have no other gods before we. Last but not least.
Is this the last one? I was just about to ask you that.
Yeah.
I was thinking he might come up and you might. Okay, well, this one is right next to thorium. I'm taking this one. Wanted to talk about PA, element 91, but gotta keep this brief, because the first people who discovered an isotope of element 91 found it had an insanely short half-life, so they wanted to name it brevium. But then again, after German scientists found another isotope with a much longer half-life, they figured that maybe they'd try protoactinium, because this element was a progenitor of element 89, actinium, because when element 91 decays, it loses an alpha particle, and actinium 89, element 89, is created. But protoactinium? That still seems a little long. Maybe we can remember the brevity of that one isotope's short half-life and call it protactinium instead. But really, this stuff's radioactive and highly toxic, and no one can find a single use for this element other than maybe scientific research. But right now, they've discovered that measuring the ratios of protactinium and thorium isotopes in ocean sediments, they can reconstruct the movements of bodies of North Atlantic water during the melting of the last ice age. Kind of cool. But an ice age can take millions of years, hardly brief, like the first isotope discovered of protactinium. But who knows? Maybe protactinium is good for us, only good to us humans for scientific research. Maybe we'll start to learn some cool stuff about the Earth's past, and maybe the Earth's future, thanks to a brief little element we otherwise have no use for.
Thank you for coming to Science versus Insanity. I mean,
yay! Exactly. I said, no, you're awesome. And as I said, what are true powers activating the form of plan? Thank you. Thank you very much.